A WWE star returns after a long hiatus, plus multiple NXT stars were called up in last night's draft, and AEW have signed a free agent. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. Night 2 of the WWE drafts went down last night. We'll talk about some of the moving and all the shaking, but there are shaking when we saw a return on WWE television last night.
It's Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is back after, as Tom said, a long hiatus for nearly a year after undergoing neck fusion surgery. Great to see him back. And he was saving Jey Uso, who was being beaten down by some naughty boys.
Some naughty boys in the form of the Judgment Day and Logan Paul and Patrick from off the football with all his NFL rings.
Patrick Mahomes was there with some Chiefs in the front row. He arrived with Logan Paul earlier on. So I thought, oh, is he a heel? What's going on? But then by the end of this segment, him and Braun seemed to give each other mad respect.
But it was Patrick that gave his. Patrick wasn't involved in the brawl per se, but his items of apparel were, because he gave Logan Paul his rings to use as a knuckle duster.
Then, Braun was gonna. He was kind of squaring off with Patrick at the end of this segment, and then Jey Uso pulled him away and sort of said, "Yeet." Words to the effect
Yeet,
of. So maybe Patrick's allegiances are torn. He's a tweener. But no, it was a fun segment. Obviously, Jey Uso was being beaten down. Braun stormed back to the ring. You've noted here that he looked bigger than ever. He looked in tremendous shape. And he dropped Finn Balor with a big old choke slam and chased Logan away. As he was coming down to the ring, I noticed that Finn and Logan, once they'd got over the shock of his theme music, oh, it's Braun Strowman. Logan started to plan something out with Finn. He was like, yeah, you get him. And then just ran away. Classic heel moves.
Not only do we get a little tease with Braun and Patrick, but there was a little bit of a tease there with Braun and Logan.
Yes.
Suggests that maybe Braun Strowman and Logan Paul?
I think that's normally, if it was any other celebrity, I'd think, oh, maybe you'd want more of like a worker's worker in there rather than like a big man wrestler like Braun Strowman is. But at the same time, Logan's proven himself very capable. So I think, classic storytelling, big, strong babyface, cowardly heel who deserves what's coming to him. I think that would work really well.
It works nicely. There was a couple of surprises last night on the WWE draft. We saw the APA reunite, and it felt so good. We saw Farouk and Bradshaw doing one of the rounds of the draft picks. Always nice when they bring out Farouk and Bradshaw. They did the Dudleys on SmackDown.
JBL double draft duty because he was on SmackDown alongside Teddy Long, but now he was alongside his more familiar partner.
He was in the War Room, wasn't he, at one point as well? They showed him backstage at SmackDown. But we also saw Stephanie McMahon last night on Raw.
Style Grace. She's never going to be demoted. Welcome to the Queendom.
Well, she'll never be demoted because she doesn't work there anymore.
She was there making her first appearance on WWE TV, of course, since she opened night 2 of WrestleMania. She announced the first round of picks for the WWE draft, but she still doesn't have an official role within WWE. Let's talk about those draft picks now. We've been flirting around the situation.
So your thoughts on the whole on some of the moving and the shaking of the draft? I think there's been some nice shake-ups, more so last night than there was on Friday.
Yeah.
But I think the big talking point is the NXT ones.
Yes, that's probably true. And I like the whole setup they've got with showing the Performance Center and all the NXT roster there. And I reckon some of that might legitimately be a surprise. Like, I don't know if Kiana James actually knew she was being called up, given just how happy all the room was for her, even though she's a despicable heel.
I thought that, and so we'll get into some of those from... Oh yeah, Kiana James seemed particularly surprised by it. But night 2 of the draft, we saw the announcements that Ilya Dragunov and Lyra Valkyria were both getting drafted to Raw, and this was a surprise. Blair Davenport getting the call up to SmackDown.
Yeah, fair play. Obviously, I'm biased in her favour as a former WCPW Women's Champion, Blair Davenport, but she deserves it, I think, because she has a lot of experience in the British independent scene. She went over to Stardom and really upped her game there and came back a different wrestler. And then in NXT, she's been used kind of as like a mid-level heel, like a level 3 boss in a video game.
A level 3 boss.
I don't know. But she's been sort of an obstacle for faces like Sol Ruka to overcome. And now that she's kind of fulfilled that role and put over Sol Ruka, give her a shot on the main roster, see what she can do. I'm looking forward to it.
I like and then after Raw went off the air, it was also revealed that Dijak was getting called up to Raw as well, and it kind of asked the question whether or not the people getting drafted know, or who knows what. The room was elated for Dijak. We then see Dijak just sat on his phone as the announcer's going down, and legitimately tweeting, "Hey, been drafted to Raw, by the way." He then stood up. He was wearing a Bray Wyatt t-shirt, which I thought was cool. And then he pulled out a red set of sunglasses. And then he pulled out a red baseball cap from his pocket. But he had a blue baseball cap in his other pocket as well. Which suggests that he might have been tipped off that he was getting drafted.
Yeah.
And then was just equipped, ready for whichever night he was going to be
Fair
needed.
enough. Yeah, maybe it seems like the way that he did it with the text and wearing the shirt and everything, he probably knew ahead of time. But some people I don't think do.
Maybe they all got told, but they were told to keep it a secret.
Maybe that's
keep
a good
everybody
shout.
guessing. But
Interesting drafts, though. I think Dijak deserves it as well.
Oh, I think Dijak's ready to do some really good things on the main roster. I think that character on NXT, this version of Dijak that we finally got, I think is the most WWE centric Dijak that we could get.
Yes.
You know, obviously we saw him as Dijakovic in NXT all those years back. We saw him as T-Bar. I think Dijak and the character that he has there's a lot of fun he could have on Raw.
Yes, absolutely.
Dijak.
I agree. One thing that I haven't understood with the draft is that the main thing I got from this year's draft, the main thing I took away was the presentation of it. They really wanted this to look like a sports style draft. You saw the boardrooms and everything. They took it very seriously, who's going to be the number one pick and all that sort of stuff. But then one thing that they do every year, which I'm never sure whether they should just do away with, is part of the drafting is keeping your own superstars. Should it not all just be about poaching the other side's stars and taking them by surprise? I don't know.
Triple H mentioned something on the first night where he said it's not just about getting good talent; it's about keeping the ones that you've got.
Own, yeah.
So it's a bit of a mix. I think it kind of feels like everyone just goes into the pool and then they just have to go. Look, do I save that guy or do I get a new name in there?
Yeah.
So there was some intriguing choices, but the draft is done. The rosters get locked in on May the 6th, after Backlash.
Right.
The rosters get locked in. So there'll be a little bit of to and fro in between now and Backlash on Sunday. But I suppose it's only Sunday, isn't it? And then on Monday it all gets stuck in.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or Saturday, isn't it? Sorry, Backlash.
I wonder if we'll see anything on this week's SmackDown.
I reckon we'll probably see a few stars saying farewell to Friday nights.
Okay.
And probably teasing a few other bits for Backlash itself. I've got an update on the King of the Ring last night on Raw. It was announced that next week, the King of the Ring tournament will get underway. The finals are going to take place on the 25th of May at the King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. Now, so far, 3 men have declared for the King of the Ring, and those being Gunther, Xavier Woods, and Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew McIntyre, it seems like he's taking some time away from the ring.
Yeah, so that could be something that's changed in very short order, because Drew is obviously currently injured, or it's unknown when he's going to be back since that hiatus was announced. It was also announced that he's re-signed with the company, though.
He got a special sword. He got a claymore from The Rock.
The Rock gave him a sword.
Dinner.
Which we all dream of as men. The Rock. What's more masculine than The Rock delivering you a sword?
I love that.
But yeah, maybe Drew will be pulled from the tournament. It certainly seems that way anyway.
Well, and also Xavier Woods was another one that declared. And last night, they seemed to do an injury angle with him where Gunther put him in that leg lock for a long, long time, that half crab for ages. And it seemed as if they were going to seemingly write him out that way. So whether the story is that Gunther's just going to go, anyone that declares for the King of the Ring, I'm just going to batter you before it starts. Except Drew, you're too far away up in that skybox.
Yes.
No news on the Queen of the Ring starting, but I assume that will get underway next week as well.
Yeah, and they're gradually building up the women's division again, aren't they? So I think there's various different wrestlers in the women's division who feasibly could win the Queen of the Ring tournament. If Tiffany Stratton doesn't win the belt at Backlash, I'd like to see her win Queen of the Ring, and I think that would be it would bring it back to its original... Was it its very original point? You know how like the King of the Ring winner like Austin, like Triple H, is someone who's destined for greatness in the future.
Yeah, it's someone who is definitely going to be the guy they're going to strap the rocket to.
Yeah, I'd like to see it kind of return to that, where you've got mid-carders or upper mid-carders winning it rather than an already established main roster talent.
I always feel like the winner of the King of the Ring should get a title shot at SummerSlam.
That's a good shout as well. Like it's like a mini Royal Rumble.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so the idea of Gunther winning it and then it's Gunther versus Cody at SummerSlam.
Especially with 2 world titles, so it doesn't paint you too much into a corner with the booking. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, maybe they will do something like that. Triple H is big on, at the minute, this radical new idea in a post-Vince world of things making sense week to week,
yes,
and following on from one another.
What a wild concept,
crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
But as the Raw and SmackDown GMs got their rosters in place, Tony Khan has added another to his.
Yes, he has. After speculation for the last few months, it was now confirmed by Fightful Select that former NWA Women's Champion Camille has signed with AEW. She's been a free agent since January after a dominant, very impressive run in the NWA, which included an 812-day reign as the Women's World Champion.
That's ages.
Before signing, for a long time.
That's a long time.
Before signing, she revealed she'd spoken with WWE as well, in particular Shawn Michaels, about a possible NXT deal, but obviously that didn't pan out. Tony Khan has praised Camille during a media call ahead of Revolution back in March or Feb, describing her as a good fit for AEW. She has previously appeared on AEW TV as well.
I genuinely thought that there might be a chance that Camille would land in NXT. That felt like a thing for a while, but I think as soon as Tony started talking about how good she is as a free agent, I think that's when he decided, nope, she needs to be with us.
Yes, if you've never seen Camille before, she's very dominant.
She's brilliant.
Very dominant, imposing, very tall. She acted, I believe, as like the bodyguard to Nick Aldis when he was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion as well.
Yes, that was it. She was the muscle.
Yes, before becoming champion out of her own accord. And I think she could potentially be someone AEW used to fill that hole left by Jade Cargill's departure.
Yeah, I think so. I think very much so. But I'm excited to see what she'll do. I think she's destined for big things.
Yes,
is Camille, and I'm intrigued to see how she fits into all of that within AEW as well. I was going to say you twitching tonight, but we're a day early because it's Tuesday.
I've been thinking it's Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on?
Time is a construct of human perception. We have, of course, the latest wrestling news throughout the day for you at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.